Greetings, Roots of Peacer. I'm Chelsea. This is Luna. Thanks for joining us for another practice today. I should say me. Luna never stays for these things. Oh, look at that. Maybe she will for the intro. All right, so today's practice, care for your core. It's our last practice for September, self-care September. So thanks for being here with me for that. So clearly, core is what we're focusing on today, but that doesn't necessarily mean just your ab muscles. It's inclusive to all kinds of other things. So I'm going to cover a couple different organs and what emotions live in those organs, and some asanas, some poses that will help you get rid of emotional clutter or physical clutter, whatever's hanging out in there that shouldn't be. We're going to work on getting rid of it today. So grab your mat, grab some water, comfy clothes, anything else you need, and I will see you in just a few moments. All right, welcome to today's practice, care for your core. We're going to start in mountain pose. So check in, starting at the base. Check in with your feet, hip width apart, toes are forward, micro bend in the knees. You never want to lock out your knees. I've seen people pass out this way, like way back in middle school. Anyway, it's a whole different story. And then you want to stack everything up. So ankles are positioned over the feet, and the knees are over the ankles, and then you're zipping up, hips are over the knees, palms are facing forward, and you just want to tuck your pelvis slightly. So you want that little bit of engagement here. You're engaging the core, which we're going to talk about a little bit more very soon. So now that you're in your mountain pose, take the shoulders up, roll them back and down, release. Palms are forward, and you can start to tap into your breath. You can keep your eyes open or closed, totally up to you. I'm going to break down what my definition of core is. So the title of this practice, Care for Your Core, is kind of all-inclusive. So we're going to be focusing on, yes, your ab muscles, but also your back core. So when we say core, we actually mean the front part of your torso and the back part of your torso and those muscles. Because if you have really strong ab muscles and not so strong back muscles, it can cause problems, which is what happened to me in high school. So making sure that everything's nice and balanced, that you're building strength in your low back and your mid back muscles as well as your core is very important. Keep staying with your breath in your mountain pose. I'm almost done explaining. So today's practice, we're also going to focus on some organs that are within the core region in your torso. So we're going to do a few poses that will strengthen the kidneys and support the kidneys, as well as your digestion and that function. And then we're also going to do some side body stretches to help out your liver and your spleen. And I'll talk more about the emotions that live in these organs as we get to those poses. So 2 more breaths in your mountain pose. Luna's moving around, you can hear. She's just not on camera. All right, inhale up to extended mountain. We're gonna start with some half sun A's just to get some motion going. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Slide the hands to the shins, straight back here, reach the crown of the head towards, away from you. Exhale to fold. Rise, extended mountain on your in breath. Out breath, drop down, fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold, up you go, extended mountain. Melt down, fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins. Pop it back down to fold, up you go to extended mountain. This time you're gonna exhale to lean to the right and look to the left. So our spleen is one of our filtration systems. And when we think about filtration, we don't necessarily think about emotions living in our organs. So we want to make sure that when we're doing yoga that so inhale to come up to center, exhale to lean to the left, look to the right, that we're thinking about that. Because we have emotions that live in the body. We don't always express our emotions because it's kind of culturally frowned upon. So by stretching the side bodies, we're opening up those organs and squeezing things out. Maybe emotional clutter, maybe it's physical clutter. But when we talk about squeezing out the body, we're not just talking about physical, we're talking about emotional as well. Back up to center, drop down, forward fold. Take your halfway lift. Melt down to fold. Rise to extended mountain. Drop down, fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold, back up you go to your extended. And now you're gonna grab the left wrist with the right hand. That was a lot. And then cross the left leg behind the right one and lean to the right. So our liver and our spleen, our liver is one of our biggest organs and it's a filtration system, as I said. So those organs hold hot emotions. So if you think of anger, frustration, stuff like that. And so we want to make sure that we're taking good care of our filtration systems so we can flush out those hot emotions, those toxic emotions. Come back up to center, uncross the leg, and now grab the right wrist with the left hand, and then cross the right leg behind the left one, lean to the right, and you can gently pull on that wrist. So you should feel a stretch from your armpit all the way down into your hip, ideally. And if you don't, that's totally fine. You can ground down on both feet. I was up on my tippy toe or on the ball of my foot for the other side, but do what you will, what's best for you. The other way that you can cleanse your liver is by getting good sleep. So we should get at least 6 hours of sleep a night, but ideally it should be 8. And that's how your liver cleanses. That's how it repairs, is when you rest. So keeping that in mind, especially if you had a night of drinking, or you come back up to center, stretch up to extended mountain, drop down the fold, and you're gonna stay in your forward fold. So if you had a night of drinking, or if you had a lot of frustration, or maybe something happened to you at work and you're angry, make sure you're getting good sleep so you can get those emotions out of the body. So next in breath, take your halfway lift. Exhale to fold, rise, extended mountain. Release down to fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. From here you can step back to high plank. Drop to tabletop. You're gonna cross your legs behind you or scoop them off to the side. We're gonna make our way onto our back. So now that we're a little warmed up, we got some motion going, we're gonna tap into this core that I've been talking about profusely. So we're gonna start with butterfly sit-ups. So come into reclining butterfly. The legs are wide, soles of the feet are pushing together. And now we're going to ideally do sit-ups. So these butterfly sit-ups are great because it's getting your legs out of the way so you can get that sensation lower down into these low abs, because if your legs are up, sometimes like they get in the way of that deep work that you're going to do. Take your hands behind your head, but remember that they're not here to pull up on the neck, they're just here as a guide, a little bit of a rest for your head. So inhale to come up, exhale to drop back down, stay with your breath as you go. And if you want to reverse it so that you're exhaling coming up and inhaling going down, you do your thing. I won't stop you. But feel the engagement in those core muscles. Take your awareness there and really engage them as you come up so that your front and your back core are doing the work. So I can feel these in my back as well. And again, we want to keep things nice and balanced so that we avoid injury. Nobody wants to get hurt. Okay, so we're gonna take 2 more. I didn't count, but if you are and I ended on a rough number and you need to go like totally to 15 or something, do your thing. Okay, so drop back into half corpse pose. And now we're gonna counter what we did since our abs are on fire a little bit. So we're gonna bring the knees into the chest. You can take a few side to side rocks. I'll give you a little bit of break in between all the ab work, I promise. The core work, I should say. It's helping your low back too. So you're gonna come back to center, flex the feet, and inhale to curl up into a tight little ball. So this is called kidney rinse pose, and it's because there's pressure on your kidneys, in your mid back. Your kidneys hold the emotion of fear, and so if you've experienced trauma, if you got scared doing something, you had a scary experience, maybe you just saw a spider, it doesn't have to be anything huge, that all stores in your kidneys. So these types of poses where we're putting pressure on the kidneys, pressure on the low back, great way to get rid of fear. And your body is so smart because it holds emotions in organs where it can get flushed out. So we pee a lot. We pee out fear all the time. So make sure that you stay hydrated because that's also how you rinse your organs, rinse your kidneys out. One more breath here. Exhale to drop back down to half corpse. From here, we're gonna take some leg lowering. So send the feet high to the sky. Take a moment to wiggle those toes, rotate the ankles. We always wanna give our feet some air time because we walk all over the place. They do so much for us. Okay, come back to stillness. These leg lowerings, you're gonna inhale to drop, hover just above the mat. Exhale to bring it back up. Same thing on the left. Inhale, lower, exhale, up. Stay with the breath as you go. Again, if you wanna reverse your breath, so you're exhaling on the way down and inhaling on the way up, I'm not gonna stop you. Do your thing. But you're staying with the breath. And if dropping all the way down to the floor isn't your jam, take these itty bitty. You can just do baby ones, totally fine. But wherever you're at, go with the breath. Somatic motion is so good for you. Somatic movements gets that fascia moving, keeps it nice and juicy. We don't want hard fascia. We want it to be slick and smooth. So take one more round on each side, keeping the core engaged as you go. Drop the knees into the chest. You can take a few side-to-side rocks. Come back to center. We're gonna start to rock and roll back and forth now. This is also something that's engaging the core because your core is kind of like pushing that motion with you. So keep the tummy muscles engaged. And now you're gonna bring it up for boat pose. I went a little too far with my roll. So a few options for your boat pose. You can tap one heel and then the other. Balance on your sit bones with both feet in the air. Hands can be behind the knees or you can bring them out to the side. So this is one of the few yoga poses that like everything's engaged. We're staying upright, we're rooted down on our sit bones, and we're gonna be here for 2 more breaths. Option to straighten the legs if you wanna go a little further. I'm not feeling it. You can drop back, rock and roll. Take one more. Give that spine some love. Roll up to tabletop.